Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Well, we're going to continue on with some Final Fantasy XIV. So last time we came back to Gridania, we heard about some disturbances that they needed an adventurer to do, and who better than us, right? So we're going to speak with Mother Mjorn here and figure out what's going on. Alright, so take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come to take your... Oh, it's you, Lien. Just so good to see you again. What's that? Here at Bateron's suggestion, you say. That foul-mouthed rogue sends me word that an adventurer might be along for the job, and it turns out to be you. Well, this makes things a lot easier, doesn't it? With regard to the task in question, there is a fair bit to tell you. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details, and I shall brief you. Alright. Mjorn is waiting to brief you on your task. Ready for that briefing? Good. Now then, here's the long and short of it. Beg pardons for interrupting, Mjorn, but our need grows ever more pressing. Have none step forward? It's Lewin. And good day to you too, Bowlord. Your need must be pressing indeed for you to honor us with a visit. The good news is, your journey hasn't been wasted. I'm pleased to report that we have a volunteer at last, and one who comes highly recommended at that. Hello again. Well, if it isn't our very own woman for all seasons. You certainly have a knack for appearing when you're most needed, Lien. My thanks for answering the call. Now, time is of the essence, so I shall proceed directly to the heart of the matter. We wish for you to nip a potential threat to Gridania in the bud. Beneath the central shroud there lies an underground burial site called the Tam-Tara Deepcroft. The place was once a Gelmoran settlement, but we Gridanians have long interred our dead there. Of late, however, shadowy figures have been seen skulking about the Deepcroft, and with ever-increasing regularity. Based on the accounts of various witnesses, we suspect that these individuals belong to the Lambs of Dalamud, a doomsday cult which sprung up prior to the Calamity. These zealots have proven themselves dangerous in the past, and we leave them to their own devices at our peril. Ordinarily, I would have dispatched my best men to scour the Deepcroft with orders to flush the cultists out. Alas, the Calamity decimated our ranks, and the limited forces at my disposal are constantly required to keep the Ixal at bay. Since we thwarted their attack on the Guardian Tree, the Birdmen have not allowed us a moment's respite. They have probed every elm of our defenses in search of a weakness, compelling me to spread our forces far more thinly than I would like. The situation so being, we have no choice but to entrust the task of dealing with the Lambs of Dalamud to others. Can we rely on you to handle this matter, Lien? Of course you can. You should know this. You have my gratitude. Once you've seen to your preparations, pray make your way to the Deepcroft and identify yourself to the guard posted at the entrance. He will appraise you of the latest developments. That is all. Be careful out there, you hear? May the crystal guide you and keep you. Usually they say, may you ever walk in the light of the crystal. That's a different phrase there. Okay, so something I do... Oh, looks like my gear is all repaired. I must have done that last time. I just don't remember. So we're good to go. It sounds like we are heading into a dungeon. So that's why I wanted to make sure my gear looked like it was going to be okay. So let's see where... Okay, it's all the way down there. So to save some time, I'm going to just teleport. And head straight down this way. Oh, whoops. I landed in the water there. Looks like we got a lightning storm here in Central Shroud. I really love the weather system they've got in the game. it really kind of helps with the immersion as you're running around the open world. It's like a party of NPCs were trying to get in here before. We're gonna sneak around this side and just kill the ones that we have to. There we go. And we're gonna talk to Yurli and Lung Tian, I take it? Thanks for helping us out, friend. No doubt the Bow Lord has already informed you, but your task is to enter the Deepcroft and purge it of the Lambs of Dalamud. In case you're unfamiliar with them, the cult emerged shortly before the calamity put an end to the Sixth Astral Era. The cultists took the Lesser Moon Dalamud for their god, believing that it would deliver them from the devastation. And so they were rather disappointed when Dalamud exploded into 1,000 flaming pieces before it could complete its descent. Now, having seen their god turn to ash, one would think that the cultists might feel moved to question their faith. On the contrary, it served only to stoke the flames of their fanaticism. The Lambs of Dalamud are convinced that heretics, that is to say, everyone but them, interfered with the coming of their Lord and Savior, and that it is now their sacred duty to avenge him. Whatever it is they're doing in the Deepcroft, you may be sure that no good will come of it. For the sake of Gridania and Eorzea at large, put an end to the madness. Alright, and so now we have access, our gear is repaired, and we're ready to go. So we're going to join that, and look at that nice tank queue. So great. Alright, so we're going to watch the little cutscene. And I'm just gonna say hello to everybody. Alright, here we go. Looks like we're in here with mostly all new people. Angel there does not have the new sprout symbol, so they might be an older player. Come back. One of the other people asked a question, so let's just answer them real quick. That's what the typing was. Okay, off we go. Got another one aggroed from behind me. I forget that there's sometimes wandering monsters in these early dungeons. So, on the right side, on our duty information, the first thing we have to do before we're able to really move on with the dungeon is destroy some orbs that the cultists have stashed in here. And I'm also going to ask everybody if they want a full clear. They do, so we're going to run off into this room next. Otherwise it would lead us straight into if we went the other way, we'd start heading towards the end of the dungeon. But since they want the full run of the dungeon, we're gonna go to all the side rooms and stuff and make sure we hit everything in here. And I'm going to probably keep my map up quite a bit, so I can keep an eye on the exploration, so that I can maybe get that achievement. For exploring all areas in the dungeon. And because these guys are kind of attacking both enemies, I'm just making sure I'm trying to switch back and forth between them regularly so that I don't lose aggro as often. But like I was saying during the last dungeon, as a tank, before you're actually able to get your tank stances, the one where you're able to generate more enmity, it's kind of hard to keep aggro on multiple enemies, especially if you're in a party with people who have better gear than you, or they're just higher leveled in general. But just gotta do your best, and everybody kind of understands, I think. Alright, so this room is where we're going to destroy the first cultist orb. I'm just going to wait till everybody gets in here. Alright, there we go. We have to kill all these things, and then it should summon a boss. Because this technically counts as a dungeon boss room. I'm trying to get in front of him even though he's right up here on this altar, so that way the DPS are able to hit the boss from the back. Although Angel's wanting to stand right next to me, that's fine. I don't think they've got any positionals this low. They didn't want to dodge that either. Alright, let me get a chest. I don't need that. And they hit the cultist orb, so now we can move on. Because before they hit that, the gate was closed, so we weren't able to continue on until you interacted with the cultist orb. And if you look over on the right, it now shows that we've got 1 out of 4. Alright, let's go. Alright, there we go. The ranged enemies are kind of annoying to deal with as a tank because they don't like to group up with the rest of your mob. So it makes it kind of hard to tank them, and also it makes it annoying for DPS because they're not able to target the way that they would like to. Especially for DPS that have AoE attacks. So I always try my best to get them grouped up, but it doesn't always work because there's sometimes those ranged enemies will just kind of do whatever they feel like. Angel really likes to attack the one that's not the one everybody else is attacking. Okay, so that's that room. Now we're going down this way. Just gonna cycle through these, make sure I don't end up losing any. Okay, let's go grab this chest. Ooh, no, they're not as good as what we're wearing. I'm gonna pass. And looks like Angel got turned around. They went the wrong way. I'm gonna put that. I forgot that I got a couple more roll attacks, so we're just gonna kind of put them down there for now, and I'll move them around after the dungeon. I'm just going to flash a few times since there's so many enemies. It's hard to kind of keep track and make sure I've got aggro on all of them by single targeting. So flash kind of helps with that just a little bit. Ooh. It's almost there. I also just noticed that I haven't changed my setting to where it shows the percentage of health the enemies that we're targeting have left. That's something that kind of helps me gauge like how we're doing. And occasionally there's, ooh, we got a new sword. Occasionally there are boss enemies and stuff that certain phases change as you hit different percentages of health for them. So it helps out a lot if you have the percentages visible. And that's one of the things you have to change, I think, in your character settings, and I've just forgotten about it. I've noticed starting up this new character, there's a lot of things that I kind of took for granted, having already set on my main character. And it's easy to forget which ones I had when I'm just so used to them being there all the time, that when you have to go and actually set it up again, it's like, wait, what did I have? Where did I put this? You know? The healer has the same hairstyle I do. She's got her hair brown though. See what I mean about those long range ones? I've got 2 in this party, or this mob. And we're going to go in this room. Okay, it looks like a headpiece dropped. We're not quite level 25 yet though, so we're gonna keep holding off on that until probably a later dungeon where we can get either pink or green gear. It's not really for tank anyway. And then we go this way. Gotta kill some more Yarzons. Okie dokie. And then this room, we have to clear that barrier before we can move on to go into the boss room over there. So we gotta kill these enemies first. Okay, so we're going to keep going this way because we can't go in the boss room. And then we got these group here. And of course 2 of them are ranged DPS. And I can't quite get far enough away to get them to move closer to each other, which is annoying. Put up a couple buffs to help the healer. Alright, so there's that. We had to get that rosary from that room, and now we can use that on this barrier. And I'm going to wait for everybody to get here, and then use the cultist rosary. And now we can go. Grab these. I'm going to use Rampart to give myself a little bit of a shield since I got so many enemies on me. And then once this guy's down, we can go in and fight the final boss. This dungeon is quite a bit shorter than the first one we did. Oh, come on, healer. Okay, there we go. I was like, oh dear, none of my buffs are ready to go yet. Alright, now we can grab these. And we get a little cutscene. Who summons me from the void to reside within this cruel vessel? You seem surprised. Did you not cross our gates in search of blood? Come, children of dawn. The underlying master will drink deep tonight. Undying master will drink deep tonight. Alright. And we got loot. A new belt. I'll greet it. And off we go. It's like a Cthulhu, robed Cthulhu or something. So when these guys are up and he's tethered to them with that purple tether, you can't do any damage to the boss, so you have to go and kill them. I think I must have gotten a little bit too far away from the healer. They had to run over here. Alright, there we go. Now they can kill the boss. Once all these ads are dead anyway. And boss is dead. There we go. And we leveled up. I'm gonna say thanks to everybody. They did a good job in that dungeon, and we don't need those, so I'm going to pass and give the healer their calm. Alrighty, and off we go. We got 2 more commendations. So that is complete. It wasn't too bad. Nice quick little dungeon. It looks like we need to go and report our findings to Mion up at the Gridania Adventurers Guild, so we're gonna go do that. I'm just gonna run there this time. Spray. It looks like our gear didn't get hit too hard, so we want to make sure we keep an eye on that so we don't end up accidentally going into a dungeon with our gear almost broken. That's never fun. You end up really negatively impacting your party, especially as the tank, which is what we'll be playing, because then you get hit just so much harder, and it really makes it difficult for the healer especially to manage keeping you alive while you're running through. So it's good to just kind of keep an eye on your gear. And since I'll be playing tank, I'm going to definitely be unlocking and working on leveling armorer and probably blacksmith, since those are the two classes that will most often be the ones that would repair the gear that I would be wearing as tank. And that way if you've got those classes, crafting classes leveled up, you can use them to repair your gear even if you're inside a dungeon. Whereas normally, if you don't have that leveled, you'd have to make sure you always repair your gear before the dungeon, because otherwise you can't repair it in dungeon without having a crafter class, the appropriate crafter class leveled up. So if you were any of the other classes, generally I think you would want to have either weaver or leather worker. I think they are able to repair most of the gear for all the other classes. The other one that you'll want to level up would probably be goldsmith to repair your accessories. So all of your rings and stuff. Like, see, right over, oh, I won't be able to show you. In the bottom section of that pop-up right there, you'll see it says condition, spirit bond, repair level. To the right of that it says goldsmith. And it's going to be like that on almost all of your accessories. And it'll even tell you what level goldsmith you need to repair that item. So, yeah. Definitely useful to have. There is an item you have to have in your inventory to actually do the repair, but it's negligible. Anyway, welcome back, Leanne. I'm reliably informed that your foray into the Deepcroft was a success. Nor did I expect anything less. You've made such a habit of succeeding that it's difficult not to take your talents for granted. Rest assured, however, Mother is impressed, even if she isn't surprised. Lord Lewin asked me to pass on his thanks. You're welcome. I must say, it's something of a relief to be able to call upon such a capable adventurer. That's good. Sadly, death has become an ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitions, and we are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. While this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself, it also provides ample opportunity for the inexperienced to overreach themselves, with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point, Avir is gone, and it's all your fault. If it hadn't taken you an age to heal him, he would still be alive. But I tried. He bolted out of range before I could finish the spell. He shouldn't have been so hard-pressed in the first place. We should have done more to lighten his burden. Bah, to the hells with this pathetic excuse for a party. I'm leaving, and it'd be too soon if I never see your faces again. Goodbye, and good riddance. Ow. I'm leaving as well. I doubt this comes as any surprise, but I never liked you. Ow. Ouch. I only suffered you for your healing, but you couldn't even do that one thing right. Cruel though this may sound, you brought this upon yourself. Oh, and by way of some parting advice, get rid of Avir's head. Oh, bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hells you like with it, but for God's sake, stop carrying it around. It's just get rid of it, all right? I mean, I don't really blame them for leaving. Wait, don't leave me alone, please. I'm so sorry, Avir. Please forgive me. I completely forgot she carried his head around like that. That's very creepy. Scenes like this have become all too common. That makes a dozen times in half as many days. Now, you see why I'm grateful for adventurers of your experience. I can send women like you on a mission without worrying that you might not return. Well, not so much at any rate. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I received a message from my counterpart in Ul'dah. She seeks the services of a reliable adventurer, and you are nothing if not reliable. If you think you might be interested in this task, say the word, and I will be glad to share the details with you. Yep. It's probably another dungeon. Let's see. Yeah, I like the plundered gauntlets better. So we're going to take the bronze piece. Mion has information on a new task. So you're not averse to taking a little trip? Wonderful! As I mentioned earlier, the request comes to us from the Adventurers Guild in Ul'dah. Once you arrive, seek out Mumodi, the proprietress of the Quicksand. Think of her as the Sultanate's version of myself. Chances are she'll send you into the midst of danger, but I have every confidence that you'll pull through unscathed. Now, off you go, Lien, and good luck. Okay, we're gonna go to the airship. It's technically just a little bit cheaper. Not a lot, but... Okay. And we gotta go to this lift thing. Pretty sure it was Hustings Strip. Nope. Oh well. We'll just use this Aetheryte over here and go to the Adventurers Guild. And while we're here in Ul'dah, probably in the next... before we actually go and do this next dungeon, we'll go and pick up our level 25 Gladiator quest. Welcome to the Quicksand, friend. I'm a tad busy right now, if you wouldn't mind showing yourself to... Judging by your determined expression, I take it you ain't here for ale. Are you called Lien Lungtien by any chance? That's me. Mion sent word that you'd be reporting for duty. She also made a point of calling you the adventurer of the moment. That ain't no small praise coming from her. But you didn't come all the way here to listen to my prattle. Doubtless you're eager to get started, so let's talk business, shall we? Yes. Take the bronze piece. Mumodi is waiting to brief you on your task. Hopefully we get a headpiece in the next dungeon, though, because the friendship circlet no longer will work. The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. Gods almighty, another second under the sun and I would have been set afire. A tankard of ale, if you would be so kind. Papa Shan. Excellent timing, Papa Shan. It just so happens the adventurer who will be handling your petition is here. So this winsome lass is the much-lauded adventurer, is she? Marvelous, marvelous. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, my lady. I am Papa Shan, formerly of the Sultan Sworn. I thank you for agreeing to lend us your aid. Mayhap you'd like to praise Leanne of her mission? Yes, of course. The petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at Amalja & Sons Mineral Concern. It relates to an unfortunate development at Copperbell Mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. Woo. These giants are of the clan known as the Hecatoncheires, fearsome creatures who were sealed within the deepest depths of the mines during the bygone Thorn dynasty. Alas, it seems they have managed to break through the layer of rock which served to imprison them and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. The creatures were justifiably angry at their treatment at the hands of our ancestors, and their presence has forced the suspension of all mining activities on the site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Thorn dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago? Wow, they're still alive. You know your history well, my lady. The people of that age used the Hecatoncheires, I have no idea how to say that, to work their mines. By way of enchanted helms, they were able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will, but as it is oft the way in such tales, these enchantments eventually failed, and the slaves rose up against their masters. In a desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the Hecaton laws, our ancestors induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost levels. So it was that the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well, now, that's got me thinking. I seem to recall there being an article about Copperbell in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. I said the mines were being reopened so as to meet the rise in demand for building materials. Like as not, our boys dug a bit too deep and freed the giants. Gods, to think the poor creatures are still alive and kicking after 3 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be seething. Yep, indeed, and that makes them a dangerous to us all. There will be no mining at Copperbell so long as they remain. For the sake of both peace and prosperity, they must be subdued. This is the task which we would have you undertake. I'll not deny that the mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great, and so I beg you, put an end to this sorry business. Gods bless you. I feared you might have reservations, but I assure you it is for the best. In case you don't know, Copperbell Mines are in the western Thanaland. Do take care, you hear? And one last thing before you depart. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well. Oh, I guess it was just telling me that this person was going to be here to tell me about it or something. Painted Mesa. Looking for Painted Mesa? You found him. So you're the adventurer who's volunteered to deal with the mess down in Copperbell, are you? You've got guts, miss. I just hope you've got skills to go with them, because things aren't pretty down there. The Hecatons have left the place in a right state, and nary a week after mining resumed. I don't know if you know this, but Copperbell was old when the second old dynasty was still young, and it was abandoned centuries ago. If it hadn't been for the shortage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort, the concern would never have thought to reopen it. We knew full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could possibly survive being buried under a mountain's worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up more than they bargained for. One swing of the pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in the company of giants. Unless we can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. The stone's torturers are keeping watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them might be able to show you the way in. The hope of the nation's resting on you, friend. Best of luck. No pressure. Alright, before we go and do that though, I am definitely going to head over to the Gladiator Guild and pick up the level 25 quest. And that will probably be it for this episode. The dungeon took up quite a bit of time. Alright, on down here. There we go. There she is. Oh, the level 20. I never did the level 21. Okay. Well, beginning in next episode, we'll be doing the level 20 and level 25 gladiator quests, because we should probably have those before we go into the next dungeon. First Sword Milo has an urgent task for you. Leanne, I'm glad you're here. One of our members has been attacked and gravely wounded, and I need you to go and help him. I suspect this is the work of more bounty hunters. It may even be a trap to lure more of us in the open. Nevertheless, we cannot ignore our comrade's plight. When last he contacted us by Link Pearl, he said he would try to seek shelter at the Coffer and Coffin. Take this potion and search for him there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and head down to the Coffer and Coffin, and that will be where we end for this episode. It's right on down here. Alright, so this is where we're going to stop for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and saw a little bit more about how dungeons work in Final Fantasy. We'll be getting straight on into the third dungeon as soon as we are finished catching up on our gladiator quests in the very next episode. So hopefully that won't take too long. But anyway, thank you very much for joining. Have a great day, everybody.